Imagine checking your smartwatch, right? And you see your resting heart rate has just plummeted from the high 80s down to a super calm 58.
Yeah, that is a massive drop.
Right. And you didn't start running marathons or move to some silent retreat. You just finally got the user manual for your own brain. So today's deep dive is into the personal notes of a creator named Chris. He recently decoded his late diagnosed autism and ADHD. And our mission today is not to dwell on the struggle.
No, not at all.
We are looking at the blueprint he built so you don't have to learn it the hard way. It's really a story of, what that struggle taught him.
Exactly. I mean, treating that 22-beat drop in his heart rate like the massive win it is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't some random biological fluke, It is literal physical proof of what happens when you stop fighting your own neurology.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for decades, his nervous system was trapped in this perpetual fight-or-flight state. Mostly because he was constantly suppressing his natural instincts, which is what's known as masking, just to fit in.
Okay, well, let's unpack this. Because dropping your heart rate like that, it's basically like finally finding the off switch to a car engine that's been redlining in neutral for decades.
That is such a good way to put it. And to understand how he found that off switch, we really have to look at why the engine was redlining in the first place. In his notes, Chris identified the root cause of that exhaustion as this profound overstimulation.
Yeah, and I have to say, his description of overstimulation is probably the best, most vivid one I've ever heard.
Oh, the television one.
Yes. He says it's like standing in a room with 100 televisions and they're all blaring completely different programs at max volume, and you are expected to just calmly pay attention to one.
Right, and it's crucial to understand it's not just like sights and sounds in the present moment either. He describes feeling the past, the present, and the future simultaneously.
Wait, all at once?
Yeah, all at once. So the internal and external noise is just completely deafening.
See, this is where I get stuck. If your brain is basically a Best Buy TV aisle on Black Friday, how do you even function day to day? What does survival actually look like before you have that manual?
Well, the brain is incredibly resourceful. Before you understand the root cause of the noise, your brain invents these brilliant workarounds.
Yeah.
And they usually just masquerade as weird personality quirks.
Oh, like the uncle story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chris uses this hilarious story about his uncle to illustrate it. So his uncle would leave the television on a completely boring channel for hours on a Sunday, just suffering through dreary church music.
Wait, but why would he torture himself with boring TV? That makes no sense.
Because if he turned it off, he knew he'd forget to turn it back on in time for his favorite program later. He essentially used terrible television as an external placeholder because, his internal timer wasn't reliable.
And he probably hated the jarring transition of a loud alarm clock, right?
Exactly. So it's brilliant.
Okay, that is actually genius. And Chris has his own version of this too. He mentions doing press-ups or completely emptying the washing machine just while waiting for the kettle to boil. But I'm trying to connect the dots here.
Yeah.
How does burning off physical energy while making tea actually prevent the 100 TVs overstimulation we were just talking about?
So it comes down to neurobiology. People with ADHD often suffer from low baseline dopamine. So they crave immediate action to get a quick hit of focus and stimulation.
Right.
But meanwhile, autism often requires strict, predictable routines to feel safe during transitions. The dead time waiting for water to boil.
Oh, so he's stacking the behavior.
Exactly. By stacking them, Chris is satisfying both neurological needs at once. He's generating dopamine while anchoring himself in a very predictable routine.
So these aren't just funny little habits, they're highly logical survival mechanisms. But eventually, realizing these traits weren't wrong shifted his whole perspective, didn't it?
It completely changed everything. He stopped trying to force himself to fit into society's herd. And he decided to just build an environment that didn't constantly trigger that fight or flight response.
Literally built one. He built a digital ecosystem called FeelFamous. And what's fascinating here is his architectural approach to neurodivergence.
Oh, absolutely. Instead of forcing users to adapt to an algorithm, he engineered the platform to adapt to the user's need for a low stimulation, high safety environment.
Yeah, it's like an anti-Facebook, like a walled garden without data extraction or algorithms designed to keep you angry and clicking.
Right.
It sounds idyllic in theory, but building an entire social network as a safe space seems like a recipe for a moderation nightmare.
Did his notes mention how he actually handles the toxicity that inevitably shows up on the internet?
Well, he handles it with rigid boundaries. The platform actually operates on a strict 3 strikes and you're out rule for bad behavior.
Oh, wow. Really? No messing
Yeah.
around then. None. It's designed specifically so people can safely unmask and just geek out over their niche interest, whether that's vintage watches, sailing, you name it.
Just a place to come as you are without the constant pressure to perform or filter yourself.
Precisely. And he's opened it up for anyone to use. It is completely free and absolutely safe from monitoring. It's basically an invitation to stop spending so much energy just trying to navigate systems that exhaust us.
And instead engage with one that actually works for you. I love that. And it leaves you with a pretty wild thought to mull over.
Yeah, it really does.
If we all stopped spending so much of our daily energy masking who we are just to fit into the herd, what incredible ecosystems could we build with all that leftover brain power? Instead of a redlining engine, you'd finally have the power to actually drive. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.